On page 248, we see evidence that in ambiguous contexts, when the top-down processes cannot work because the context doesn't provide enough information for us to be able to know which of two possible meanings an ambiguous word might be, we find evidence that there's simultaneous activation of both word meanings. So, in this fascinating study here, a neutral context was given where you can see, we'll go to panel A of this figure, and we'll go to the neutral context in the blue box, and we'll read here condition 3, the ambiguous prime. Rumor had it that for years the government building had been plagued with problems. The man was not surprised when he found several bugs in the corner of his room. Given that this is a government building, it's possible that these bugs could be either a kind of equipment used to spy on people or insects. It's possible either way, and there's not enough information in this context for us to be able to know what kind of bugs it was talking about. When given the lexical decision task, after reading a sentence like that, people were just as fast to recognize that spy is a word as they were to recognize that ant was a word. Now, that's that's interesting in and of itself. But when you give an unambiguous prime, like if you replace that word bugs with insects, then all of a sudden people don't recognize spy quickly. They're slower at spy, and they're still fast at ant. If you go back, we're going to work backwards in panel A now to the biasing context. If you use words that it's still an ambiguous word bugs, but you give additional context, so that we say rumor had it, for years the government building had been plagued with problems. The man was not surprised when he found several spiders, roaches, and other bugs in the corner of his room. All of a sudden, the word bugs is still an ambiguous word, but the context provides enough information to know that that is intending to be an insect bug, even though the word insect wasn't used. In that situation, only the word ant is faster on the semantic primes, or on the lexical decision task. On the lexical decision task, the word ant is recognized much faster. The word spy, again, slower. But when we give an unambiguous prime, or when we give an unambiguous prime, the same thing happens. So we can, when giving an ambiguous prime, the fact that spies, that the word spy is recognized as a word as fast as the word ant is recognized, that suggests that both words are being activated in this context if it's ambiguous. That allows us to know that until it's cleared up in our mind, we're activating both words, and we're looking for additional cues to tell us which meaning was intended. Word frequency can also play a really big role in how easily words are recognized. So, in the example that we just went over, the word spy and the word ant are used with approximately similar frequency, which is the reason why both were improved, why the speed of recognizing both of those words was improved. But in some cases, one meaning of a word versus another meaning of the word might be much more frequently used in the English language. To give a little more detail on what I'm talking about here, there have been researchers who have constructed a corpus of the English language, meaning that they have input into a computer database hundreds of thousands of literary texts and of movies and of spoken dialogues, speeches given, etc. And using this input of data, using these data that were input into the database, these researchers have constructed a hierarchical list of how frequently certain words are used over others. Articles like the and of are the most commonly used of any words at all. But there are some words that are used much more frequently than others, as you can intuit just on your own. But interestingly, in the middle of 249, We see here 8 words, and if you did the task how the author of the text wanted us to do the task, you'll have noticed that there were some words that into your mind popped at the same moment 2 possible definitions, and it was a struggle to decide which of those you should give the brief definition of to yourself. When I got the most prominent example for me was the word bark. When I saw this, I immediately thought of tree bark, but the word that I said out loud was shin, suggesting that I use barking my shin and tree bark with similar frequency in my life, and so those 2 definitions of the word bark were competing in my mind, so that the first definition I was consciously aware of was not the same one that I uttered when I was trying to quickly give an example of each of these words. That suggests, just this little example right here, that the frequency of a word can contribute to the ambiguity of the word. So if it's more frequently used, it will just settle on that word, on that definition, much more easily than if both definitions of this ambiguous word are used with the same frequency in the English language.